The man of the talk show spreading good vibes, sharing knowledge, opening hearts wide. We got positive energy.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Season 3 of the Men's Talk Show. We're so excited to be back, have you guys with us. Thank you for all the support. I know we've been away over the winter. Had a little break to have some downtime, spend time with family, and really work on ourselves over all the things that we've talked about the last year. So I said, we really appreciate the support, and it really helps us to keep going. We do this for you guys to have a space where men can come and talk and really reflect on the things that have been going on with them. And so today we want to continue that theme. We have a special guest today, Habib. He resides in Sweden and he works in early childhood education. And he plays guitar, he likes karaoke, and he can solve Rubik's Cubes in 2 minutes. So we definitely got to talk about that, Habib. You got to show us some tips. And as well, the conversation we're going to talk about a little bit. Habib's going to share his stories about growing up in Sweden as a Middle Eastern man. Looking forward to hearing your perspective and the things that you want to talk about. I've never been to Sweden. All I know is it has a lot of snow. So looking forward to the conversation. So Habib, welcome.
Thank you for letting me be a part of the show.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate you coming on here. It means the world to us because we want men to share their stories around the world. So take it away.
I want to start off by saying thank you for doing a show like this for all the men out here in the world. So we have, how can I say, a platform where we can go and listen to other people sharing the same experience, so we know that we are not alone.
Absolutely. That's the main thing we want to get across. Why me and Duran even got together, because there's places where men cannot express themselves about how they feel and certain things that go on in their lives. And so I'm really interested to hear, just share us a little bit of your story, what it was like growing up in Sweden. And then
as an adult, if I didn't have the language as I have in Swedish, where is my pronunciation of the words, the way I build sentences and other things just like that, it would be a harder time for me to get to where I am. It's mostly because due to that. When I was studying in the university, we had these rooms that we could rent as students. And we also had international students. So I had 5 of those at the points from time to time where I was really, how can I say, where I pressed on the pronunciation so much. Because here in Sweden, it's a thing where people don't, when people don't pronounce the words correctly, it becomes harder for them. It's a different way of interacting here in Sweden. Social norms, that's hard to understand. One needs to be civilized in a certain type of way. It's very silent in Sweden, though.
And that's
very different.
I'm glad you say that, because as an American, as I grew up here, we don't really get educated on the cultures of other countries. And I'll just say that when you think of Sweden, you think of Europe and white people, and they're all together. But as you're saying, the culture is not the same. Just because they have the same skin tone doesn't mean they have the same cultural norms as UK, as Germany, as Italy. And that's what you're getting at. It's a whole different culture in the country.
Yeah, definitely. Like when my experience when it comes to white people and white people, it's different here in Sweden how they are interpreted. White here in Sweden is not the same as white in the US. It's pretty different. Here in Sweden, we had like, how can we say? We have a party called the Nordfront. They are not sitting in the place of power, but they are typical, what we call Nazis. They want to spread their word, and it's fine. Here in Sweden, we are like, we don't even shout at them that much. Some people shout and scream and wants to fight them. Other people are like, let them have their opinion. So they don't get too much attention. But the difference in when it comes to white, even if you are white, if you come from another country, you are still not white as a Swede. You will be treated differently. because you are not Swedish. You get my point?
No, absolutely.
So that's the kind of whiteness we have in Sweden, which I have observed.
Got it. So before we get too deep into how that affects you,
Yeah.
what's the language? Is it Swedish?
It is.
Let's hear something. Let's say like, "Hi guys, how are you?"
Hallå, hur mår ni? Hur mår ni?
Who more?
Yeah, hur mår ni? All of you. But
Oh.
hur mår du? That's the singular. So it's just straight at one singular person.
So I would say, "Who more do?" Habib. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Let me get the Rosetta Stone. I'm going to learn Swedish. I'm going to come over there and
Yeah. I'll be your
All right.
teacher.
So how long you been? How long you been in Sweden?
Since I was 1 year old, and now I'm turning 34 this year, so almost 33 years. You guys,
No.
how long have you been in the US?
all my life. I know nothing else, unfortunately.
Really?
In America all my life too. So.
The thing about Americans, especially a lot of African Americans, we don't really know our heritage from where we came from because of the whole slavery thing.
Yeah.
Now, people who come to America from Africa, they're still connected to their African roots when their parents migrated here or they migrated here. But people who were born and raised here, their grandfather, all those are here. We don't have any touch of where we were from. Our history is lost.
And I hate that they would always call people that Black people African American, but if you understand the root of it, we're not African because we wasn't born or originated.
We have no connection
Americans.
besides our skin color. There's no connection to Africa. So, and as similar as what you're saying is different between Swedish whites and whites from other places. There's difference between blacks and Africans, African Americans, people from the Caribbean. They really like if a person from the Caribbean or a person from Africa who's migrated to America doesn't like when you call them African American or black. You just lump them all together because there's absolutely cultural differences between them, between the two, which someone on the outside wouldn't see.
Oh shit! I never knew that. See some similarities of what you're describing about growing up in US and not being able to be connected to your heritage. For me, growing up here in Sweden, I was never really connected to my Lebanese heritage, and sort of. But it's different for me than it is for what you said, because my family migrated here due to war in Lebanon. But for you, it's a totally different stories. But I recognize myself in pieces of what you say.
Absolutely. So your family migrated to Sweden. Do you? Well, first I would imagine your family is obviously very close. I'm sure because you guys have to rely on each other a lot for a lot of things. But do you have connection with any family? Have you been to Lebanon?
I don't have much connection with the relatives around the world. I barely don't have any contact with anybody sometimes, but when we speak, we are instant family, even though we didn't speak with each other for 5-6 years. It's instant family.
Can you speak Lebanese or pronounce?
Yeah, everybody is complaining on my pronunciation when I speak Arabic.
They say, I bet, I imagine it's probably like so I spent a year in Saudi Arabia. I was in Jubail and then I was in Riyadh. And then I spent 4 years in Bahrain. My earlier years, my first introduction to Middle East was Saudi Arabia, but I learned how to speak Arabic. Very minimum, enough to get around, to buy things and interact. People would say, they would think I was East African and Muslim, how I looked. They didn't know I was from America until I started speaking. Like, your dialect is so weird. Where are you from? I want to get to your story. So your family is very close, but like up as a child, did the other like families like problems with you playing with their kids, or like as an adult, like to get established like jobs and were you like against or things like mentally like you had no outlet because you were an outsider?
I was backpacking in Southeast Asia. That's where I realized how much I have suppressed being Lebanese here in Sweden, where I could finally say that I am Lebanese without any judgment to it. Because when I grew up in Sweden and throughout my life until I started backpacking at 2018, I have always had this stress inside me, like pieces of stress all around all the time. And when I was backpacking, I realized it's because of how I have been taught to look at myself. I really never knew it until then. So when I
Yeah.
came back to Sweden, I realized like, shit, I am going to be treated differently. When I have children, they are going to be treated differently. And sometimes they will not even know that they are treated differently because here in Sweden, they have a sophisticated way of doing it. Sometimes they say, not a racist, but take off responsibilities of their own perspective.
Oh yes, we have that similar here in America where somebody, and it happens with not just whites, with any race. You know, they start the phrase with "I'm not a racist," but it's like, okay, you're about to straddle the lines here about what you're about to say, but again, you want to take away responsibility for what you're about to say. We have that very similar here.
Do you have this too? Like, usually I don't like Arabs, but I like you.
And then, how does that make you feel? Because, like I said, you grew up. So I have two questions. How does that make you feel when you hear that? Like, I don't like Arabs, and I like you. And then the first question, I want to get to what you said earlier. You didn't realize the difference of how you were treated. And so, is it better? I'll say, was it better when you were naive to it? You didn't know that it was being treated? Or is it better now that you have an understanding and you can work around that or, get head on?
I didn't have any understanding. It was kind of where to compare from now when I am aware of it, I am more satisfied with being aware of it. Because when I studied also, I had an advanced course in intercultural perspectives, where I could word my I could word what I was discriminated against. So I could actually pinpoint exactly what I am going through. And from that, I could find arguments and I can find ways to talking with people who are discriminating others. I could protect myself. I could stand up for myself a lot more. So when I had the words, I could tell them, you are a racist because of this, that, that. Just because of that question, you would never have asked if I didn't look like this. Never. And I could put scientific words on that. Some people are getting obsessed. Are you calling me a racist? Yes, I am. So people started to get upset, but I would still stand my ground. You get my point? And I would look them in the eye and I would show them, I am not afraid of you, but this discussion gotten to a point when it's unpleasant. So I started to be more diplomatic when I talk to people. Stopped showing off a lot of emotions because that's what they want to see. They want to see the Arab that get angry and punch somebody. I'm not going to give that to them, and they are not worth that energy and all the consequences that will come with.
Glad you said that.
I like how to manage your emotions with that, because we talked about that on last season of the Men's Talk Show, of how to be able to, no matter what you're going through in life, coping mechanism that you can be able to manage, diffuse certain situations in life. So my next question I want to come is, do you have a lot of friends there that you have like core system that shares some of your experiences too, that you can kind of help you guys out? Or how not have any friends at all in Sweden?
In Sweden, I have always been like fortunate with having good friends. It's like very fortunate, and without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I have a very good network of friends that are there for me when I need it, like I really need it. And here in Sweden, it's and there have been a lot of men starting to talk about how they are going through. Like a lot of men are for that. And here in Sweden, we educate the boys to talk about their emotions, to talk about what they feel, to teach them like, you don't like it, say no. And if somebody's on him to do something that he really doesn't want, we tell those children, he said no. You have to listen to that. You have to respect
Absolutely.
that. So we are teaching the boys values today than what they were teaching me and my generation growing up.
Yeah,
Does it
that's
ever
great.
get like, or you're just very diplomatic about it?
When there is a conflict between two children, for instance, I always ask one party, like, what happened? And the other party sometimes want to interrupt. Well, you have to wait a little bit. I'm listening to this child. I'm going to listen to you as well. So I listen, finish. Okay. Is it correct, everything that was said? That child may say, yeah, not that part. Okay. What did happen? So then I ask that child. Then I try to ask them, like, you have any solution for not getting into this situation again? Usually they say yes or no, but sometimes when they don't have a solution, I ask them, can I come with a solution? And they say yes. But sometimes you have to be on them like a lot of times until they
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
how to speak with each other and communicate.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I do, and a lot of other teachers in Sweden too.
No, I think that's really good. You have to start with, maturity at a young age, how to deal with your emotions and understand them. That's what we're trying to play catch up now here in the US. Like I said, a lot of men are starting to speak out now, but
Yeah.
that's not taught as a young kid. Still taught, don't cry,
Uh,
man up,
yeah.
just get through it. That's not always the case, not at all. And we end up suffering alone. You spoke about your friends. So I want to say, your friends, are they Arabs? Are they also white Swedish? Like, what is the makeup of your friends?
Here in Sweden, they're trying to like most of ideas of different nationalities, but there's a lot of work to be done, like a lot of work. But we now we don't look at we start to see each other as, how can I say, from the human perspective.
Absolutely.
Just see each other and seeing each other as equals. Like it's no, how can I say? First ground is always humanity. Second ground, we are aware of the issue. We look different, but we can still treat each other the same. Not everybody is like that, but there are people who is like that. And my friends are Arab, they are Swedish, they are Bosnian, from all over the world. We have a city here in Sweden, Malmö, which Zlatan Ibrahimovic came from. Over 118 nationalities in just one
Oh, wow.
city with 400,000 people living in it. So we have a
Wow.
lot of people from all over the world in Sweden.
And that's good to know, because I want to emphasize that, because yes, we're talking about Sweden in your life, but I also want to say there is a good side to Sweden as well, and not everything
Yeah.
is bad. I want to share both sides of the story. So I'm glad you shared that. What is the name of that city again?
Malmö.
Okay, I'll write that
Yeah.
down. I
Yeah.
can go there one day. I have my own
Yeah.
private jet and I can fly around. That was great. And then I'm glad you spoke about the early childhood, teaching them when they're young. Certain that's something that you wish you would have had growing up.
Yeah, in Sweden we have free school. It's included in the taxes we pay. Healthcare is for free. You can study whatever you want in university. That's for free too. You get $300 a month, which are given to you. It's for free too. We have also, like, you want to have your child in can I say preschool from 1 to 6. That's for free too. It's included in the taxes. Children get food in school and everything. That also included in taxes. So we have like system built for everybody. Everybody goes to school. It's almost the same things in school. And practically the same subjects as you are taught in the US, but throughout time and through till my generation as an adult, it has developed a lot. The perspective of seeing each other, the perspective of educating the children, seeing the human inside the other human instead of seeing like differences.
Got it. Yeah.
But we're far away from that though. But we have gotten to that kind of point.
No, that's good. You have to start somewhere, right? And societal change doesn't happen overnight. It's a
No.
long process. And it sounds like the government and the culture of Sweden is leaning in the right direction. So I just want to ask, like, what are some of the last few minutes here? what are some of the comfort things that you go to? Like when you are having a stressful day and you mentally, like I'm glad you have really good friends to talk about. What are some of the comfort things that you do in Sweden to help alleviate some of the stress?
Before it was, I went to the gym. I was training, but nowadays I'm learning new stuff on guitar. I go sing karaoke. When I sing karaoke, it's fine. Everything that's going on in my life just stops. I get into my peaceful place when I sing, and especially when it's an open stage in front of other people. That's how I and cope. I also write a lot. Like I was going through one thing. I wrote like 65,000 word book in like weeks because I needed to cope with everything. I learn more guitar and I keep myself busy because otherwise I go too deep in what I am going through, and I don't like to be that deep like all the time. I rather use my time to learn new things, and bits by bits, every now and then, I can stop by thinking. Because when I go to sleep, I can't sleep. I stay up all night. I'm thinking of something. That's when time comes where I usually process what I'm going through.
Got it. And so what I hear is that you're not so much suppressing stress and your emotions. You're finding a outlet that helps with that. Foolproof, and we still have times where we think about those things, but you have a way to outlet those emotions, and it sounds like it's working pretty well. You wrote a whole book, and your guitar. So, what is your go-to karaoke song? Is it a like Swedish song or like American pop song?
You're gonna know this one. If I just say the title of the song, I'm gonna let you guess who sang that one.
What?
It's like how can I say? When they were standing in on the stage at that time, they used to wear suits.
Talking about an old song then.
Old one.
I'm not sure, Duran. You know?
Sinatra.
Oh, you know who's?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to get away. I was going to say, you know who have similarity with someone else's? That's their favorite song here in America. His the 47th president of the United States, 45th.
No, you're kidding me.
Yeah. We like to talk about politics, but yeah. So that is this song he played during his first inauguration. The last song he played was YMCA. But anyway, I absolutely. And I see why that would be a good song. So last thing, we got like 1 minute. This has been a really good conversation, and I learned a lot about Sweden and your life growing up. And I really appreciate that you're spreading emotional maturity and young kids. Last thing, this Rubik's Cube thing. Before the show, you said you could solve Rubik's Cube in 2 minutes. Now, how do you even get to it?
2.5 was my record. Like now it's already it's like trying to scramble it. But the first you pick any side you want, but focus on the middle. I'm gonna take the white one here. That's I was taught. I was doing it. So the first thing is you have the white here, and I have the blue here, but on the other side it's white. So I just need to do that. There you go. Now I have the blue one together, and that's the white one. So always focus on the cross first to get the like here the orange and here is the white. So I need to do that. No, I think I fucked it up a little bit. But anyways, I'm trying to say is like, no, really, okay. What I'm trying to say, get these colors in the correct order first. And then you focus on these sides. Then you turn it upside down. And then you focus on getting all of these in the middle, the same color. So to get that, you focus on other things. So it's just a way of reading patterns.
Got it.
And remembering the patterns on how to solve it.
Well, we really appreciate you for coming on. Feel free to come back on anytime you want to. The platform for men of all walks of life.
Thank you for letting me be on the show.
Absolutely. Next we speak, you'll tell us about your travels to Lebanon. Hopefully you can get there one day. I as well. Hope to get there one day.
Can I leave off everybody who's watching?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
too much on putting words on emotions, emotion, focus on feeling them. Once you put words on emotions, you intellectualize them. And once you intellectualize them, you distance yourself from them instead of naming them, because happiness can mean so many different things. Being happy and just being present in that happiness, just feeling it, it's different. And once you put a word on it, intellectualizing it, you take yourself away from it. That's it.
Yeah,
No, that's a great
that's
point.
good advice.
Yeah, absolutely. Really appreciate you coming on. This was a great conversation, Habib. And yeah, to hear more. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Take care.
Sharing knowledge, opening hearts.